Yep, thank you. Mayor David Anderson,
Here in the city of Kalamazoo.
Maddie Jordan Woods,
Here in the city of Kalamazoo.
Chad Dodd, John Durham,
Here in the city of Kalamazoo.
Damian Henderson.
He's coming. He said he'll be late. He's coming.
Okay. Marilyn Pulley, Kiara Gamshow,
Here in the city of Kalamazoo.
Ricky Thrash. He was here a minute ago.
And Marilyn is here on the other side.
Oh, I see Ricky. Ricky, are you there?
I see him. That's Marilyn trying to do the connecting. Oh, no, it's Damian.
Mhm. We can't hear you, Ricky. You're on mute.
Hello.
Thank you. Damian Henderson.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Happy holidays to everybody.
Need to be on the Zoom.
Hi.
Okay. All right. Okay. Bye-bye. Okay. Chad said he cannot make it. I think Marion is on, but she keeps going in and out. She's on the other side of the building. Can I have a motion for approval of the agenda?
So moved.
A second?
Support
Hey,
David
hey.
Anderson.
Can I have a, oh, I'm sorry, all in favor? Can
Aye.
Aye.
I have a
Aye.
motion? Oh, Can I have a motion for the approval of the minutes from October 21?
Motion for the approval.
Support.
Second. David Anderson, second. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. Our next item on the agenda is the bylaw discussion. I hope everyone had a chance to look at the bylaws. The bylaws state that I believe we have to have 10 members. And what I wanted for us to discuss tonight, if it's the willingness of the board, for us to reduce the number of members to the board that would be on the board. Is everyone okay with that?
Ooh, man.
I was thinking that we could reduce the number from between 7 or 9. Can someone let me know what you think about those numbers?
You saying from 9 to 7?
From 10. Currently, we have, it says in the bylaws that it's 10. And I am saying that if we reduce it to a minimum of 7, a maximum of 9, so that we are allowed to do business. What does anyone, please let me know. Do you think we should stick with the 10? First, maybe I should ask, could you raise your hand so we could just see if you would like to reduce the number of members on the committee?
Is that losing members or just because we don't have enough at the moment?
It's because we consistently are struggling to get the number 10. And if we don't have a majority, then we can't do business.
Okay. but I'm
Maddie, if I
saying
could,
just- Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Mr. Henderson. Maddie, if I could, I just wanted to clarify that it says 10 members, the mayor of City of Kalamazoo, and up to 9 other appointed members. I just wanted to bring clarity to that.
So there's a total of 10 with the mayor. And so it would, if we dropped it to 7 with the mayor, it would be 8. We already have an even number as it is. John, you got any thoughts?
I just don't know the implication of that and the area representation and what we're striving for with the original number. So
Okay,
David here,
Ma'am?
I have a question. It seems like it's awkward to have an even number. So what do you do if we vote on something and it's 5-5 or whatever?
mhm.
I mean, that seems a little awkward. I don't know what the thinking was about that because I wasn't around for that original.
I think originally we looked at 9. And then when we realized that the mayor would always be on the committee or a designee by the mayor, it pushed it to 10. Do you believe, John, Damian, Ricky, Kiara, is that what, do you guys remember that? That we originally had it at 9, which would have been an odd number. But then we basically accepted 9, but then when we came to the meeting, the first meeting, the count put it at 10 because Bobby Hopewell was the mayor. And so that's how we ended up with an even number.
Maddie, here's just a suggestion. I mean, what if we allowed for us to have a total of 9, which would still give us a quorum if we had 5, right? Because 5 would be a quorum that would, allow for us to be meeting. It seems like we've been fairly, we've been able to get 5 people at meetings, haven't we, for the most part?
Yes,
Mhm.
yes.
So if we just allowed it to be reduced in total by 1, a mayor slot and 8 board members, which would give us a 9, then that would still keep us, enough number for representation, but maybe help us on the quorum side.
Mhm.
John, does that help clarify for you?
Yeah, I think that's still a good number of people.
Damian, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm cool with it. I was just trying to find out if it was like where we had to vote somebody off that was on the board, or if it was somebody who like already wasn't showing up and you just was eliminating them. That's what I was trying to find out.
Oh, well, per the bylaws, Will Rowland had missed enough consecutive meetings to not be on the board, but a letter was sent to him asking him if he would still want to be on the board. Because, there's an exception. We just came through a pandemic. Well, we haven't come through it. We're going through a pandemic, but he didn't respond. So it wasn't just that, it was more so that we needed to ensure that we have a quorum so that we can do business. And having it at 9, so we don't have to go as low as 7, but because, and at that point, we would be able to keep everyone who has been coming. If they desire, we can ask for renewals. I believe Marion and Chad are up for renewal. Is that correct, Paul? Jamie?
Yes, that is correct.
So, Kiara, how do you feel about just dropping 1 and going to 9? Going to 8 plus the mayor, which would then have us at a odd number.
If it's gonna create more consistency and we can get things done, I'm okay with it.
Ricky?
I agree with Kiara. As long as we can get things going. I know I missed some meetings, but for the most part, I enjoy it. And try to be at the meetings, but yeah, as long as we can get things done and be consistent, I'm all for it.
I don't know what's going on with Marion while Marion is, you can't hear her, see her. She says she can hear and she can see us, but we can't tell her, we can't see her. Is she on the computer? She's on the computer. Well, Marion says she can hear us. She agrees. She doesn't know why we can't see her because she can hear and see all of us. She said not to mark her late, that she's been. So they're coming, opening up the door, telling me. So I think we have everyone's comments. So I then will ask for a motion for us to reduce, a motion to reduce the number of board members from 9 to 8. Is there someone willing to make that motion?
A motion.
Can I have a second?
Support.
It's been moved and second. Do we need any further discussion?
David here, man. I just have one question. I presume that our bylaws allow us to change our bylaws in one meeting. We can't make a motion and, I mean, that can all be done on any given night in one meeting without otherwise providing notice? Just want to make sure we're doing it correctly.
Jamie or Paul, could you answer that for us, please?
I cannot answer that for you right now, but I think this has to go to commission if we're changing our bylaws.
Mhm.
So I will get with Clyde tomorrow and discuss this with him. It's one simple change that believe I had prepped him for previously. So let me get back to the board. I can do it via email if everybody wants to know, or I can just communicate with you, Chair Woods.
I would like for you to send the email out to everyone, please. And I
Okay.
think that we needed to vote first and then ask permission from the commission to allow it to happen.
Okay, we will send it out.
So should we call for the vote? All in favor of reducing our board from 9 plus the mayor to 8 plus the mayor? All in favor? Can you say aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried and now it will now be sent to the city commission for the city commissioner's approval. I think that we did it in the last meeting, but I just want to be sure, because if we're going to ask for them to reduce the number of board members by 1, shouldn't we also ask all at the same time for the renewal for the 2 board members whose terms have expired? Did we do that in our last meeting?
We did do it in our last meeting. It's not on a commission agenda yet. Our hope was to take it in December. It is one meeting as I understand it. And so it will be either on the 6th or the 20th. I do not know workload. I would assume that this is a very simple fix. If in fact that we do have to take this to the commission, Clyde could our city attorney, Clyde Robinson, could make the change and have that in a timely fashion as well, but I do not want to promise anything.
Mayor Anderson?
Generally speaking, the reappointments or appointments for boards and commissions happen in the second meeting
So the
of each
20th.
month. Yeah, so generally speaking, that's when those appointments would appear on our agendas.
Thank you, Mayor Anderson.
So Mayor Anderson, would it be possible to have it all done at once?
I don't see why not, although it will be two separate motions, two separate actions. One of them
Exactly.
would appear on the consent agenda, or well, they'll both end a consent agenda, but they're two different actions, so they won't be lumped into one action.
Absolutely. Does anyone have any other questions or comments concerning this? Then our next item on the agenda is the TIF plan draft discussion, which we've already done. So unless there's any more, if there's any questions or any more, we can move on. We will continue to move on. Community comments?
No, there's no community comments at this time.
Paul just raised his hand.
Thank you, Chair Jordan Woods. I just wanted to, we maybe should have had it a little bit differently on the agenda to explain. There's been some activity trying to see about getting a outside counsel to help us to take this thing across the finish line. We've identified many taxing districts that we need to meet with for this work to be done. I don't know if there's any comment from other directors, Mayor Anderson, perhaps. Do you want to maybe jump in?
Is that okay, Maddie?
Absolutely.
Okay, so yes, I had an opportunity to look at the details that still have to be taken care of so that we are indeed a fully formed and operating tax increment financing funded district. And those are very particular legal steps that must be taken and a great deal of communication that has to occur, and it's got to be done in the right way. If not, you could have problems for years or problems you identify years from now. So to that end, I really feel that this is something that we need to hire outside counsel that has experience in this kind of niche area, and that we need to pay that counsel to do that work. I had a conversation with our own city attorney's office about it, as I said I would, Manny, and they are going to, the problem there is they're really going to have to learn this themselves. This is not within the normal wheelhouse. So it's going to be a learning process for our own city attorney's office. I feel like that's going to be very inefficient. It's going to take too long. So I had a conversation with Jessica Woods. Help me, Paul. She's got a hyphenated
Wood.
last. What's that?
Jessica Wood.
Jessica Wood, who sits on the board of the DDA and DAGA, those two boards, is also an attorney and also has a great deal of experience with the exact situation that we're in and completing all the documentation, taking care of it. She knows the questions to ask. She's done it before. She is very interested in doing that work for us. I think she's right, here and available. I think that'd be fantastic. I asked her for a cost per hour not to exceed. She got back in touch with me with a number. I got in touch with the city manager and I said, I believe that it's the city's responsibility to pay for this work to get this done. There's really no other way to do it, in my opinion. And the city manager agreed with that. And I asked him to identify a potential source for where that funding could come from. And he said to me that for this year that we are in, which is ending this fiscal year, which is ending at the end of December, there is still an unspent dollar amount that was allocated for city commission identified, priorities, that money has not been spent this year. So I'm asking that amount of money be allocated for this particular endeavor. And so that is what I intend to do. We have a relatively new commission, as I'm sure everybody knows. 2 commissioners have been on for 2 years, and Don has been around for a while, but this will be a new thing for Don. So we got, in essence, 4 new commissioners. So the work I'm going to do right now will be communicating this to the commissioners that will take an action of the commission. I see no reason why any commissioner would be opposed to this, and go ahead and engage Jessica Wood and her firm and get this work done. So that is what I'm proposing right now. I think, to me, it is the absolutely best option, to take us across the finish line and get this thing in place.
I agree completely.
David, how much did her firm say that they were going to charge?
Not to exceed
Yeah,
25 grand.
25 grand.
I asked her to give me a price per hour, not give us a hard price, but a not to exceed. In other words, if they end up getting 17,000 worth of hours in there, that's what it'll cost us. But I wanted her to give us a hard cap. So it's a price per hour, not to exceed 25,000.
Is she with Warner, David?
I'm not sure, John. Paul, do you know the answer to that?
He is with Dickinson Wright.
You're
That
not a
is
firm I'm
out
familiar
of-
with, John. I knew it wasn't Warner, but I wasn't familiar with them.
It is out of Grand Rapids.
Okay.
She has done, I believe she's been involved with 6 or 7 of corridor improvement plans, corridor improvement
great.
authorities in Grand Rapids.
Right.
It's complicated stuff. I mean, we don't even approach, using TIF money or applying for it without an attorney. So.
And the city paying for it?
That's the plan. Not going to do it if the city won't pay for it. And that's what I've requested.
Okay, how long did she say it would take?
Do not have a time frame on that, Director Pulley.
I would suggest, Paul, that this is going to be a few-month process, and part of it is because there has to be communication with every single taxing entity that is involved in the district. There is 2 kinds of districts. One is a kind of something called qualified, which I'm learning about, which automatically provides some opt-in, but this kind of district does not provide that. So every taxing entity has to agree to participate in giving up this tax revenue that they would otherwise, legally receive. The only
David, I'm sorry, go ahead.
The only entity that is an automatic opt-out, I believe, is the Kalamazoo Public Library. Otherwise, so it's a complicated issue. There has to be communication with every one of these boards and probably some education to those boards as well. So it's going to have, it's a process that, we can help with, but someone's got to lead on it.
So I guess, David, I am truly confused. Because when it was first brought forth to this by the commission, there was a list of jurisdictions, and those jurisdictions, including KRESA, and KRESA opted out. So before we spend $25,000, I mean, it just seems like that it doesn't make sense if you're saying that the district that we are applying for, which is somehow different than what we were told over 2 years ago. that now if one of them, other than the library, chooses to opt out, the district would not be formed. Am I understanding that now?
No, the district will still be formed. The question is, who will be participating of the variety of entities that tax? Now, Maddie, since you know, I was not around for any of that earlier discussion. I wasn't directly involved in that. So if there's been a lot of pre-work already done and agreements there, wherever that information resides, if it's in your office, if Paul, you have it.
It was at the city's office. It was at the city attorney. And so that's why I am really trying to not be negative and not feel like there is a discrimination going on here, David, that the city attorney's office had all of that information. It was sent through with the listing of them. And now for 2 or 3 months, we kept coming up, oh, we don't know, we got to find out the districts. Well, who do we have to notify when originally it was done?
Well, I'll tell you what, so Maddie, I will totally follow up on that because obviously.
Unless there has been some changes and you have to keep going back to this attorney who keeps not telling you anything, but saying, oh, we would have to learn all of this all over. Okay, they started the process and they were doing the process until we adamantly said that we wanted in the language that those 4 things that specifically talked about ensuring that Northside residents, particularly African Americans, have financial incentives. And ever since then, it has been a city attorney is not going to come to a meeting. City attorney is not going to do this. His office is too full to do this. At what point? And then the information. Paul took 3 months just getting the documentation from the city, the city attorneys from the previous year when we first started that had notified all of the jurisdictions. One letter was sent to every jurisdiction that was involved.
So
telling them what we were doing, and then asking if they would participate. The jurisdictions that said that they chose not to participate, we got the information. All of that is in the city attorney's office. Why are we saying that we now have to, is it in NACD's office? No, it was at the city attorney's office. It's always been there. Everything was done through the city attorney's office.
Okay, well, I appreciate that information. It's very helpful, Maddie. So Paul, do you have any updates on that?
As I understand it, there is the initial notification when the idea of the NCBDA was created by the city commission. What was that, 3 years ago? And those letters did go out. This is now the real one, I guess, for lack of a better term. We are going to work with an attorney to negotiate with each and every one of these taxing jurisdictions. There's about 20 of them, 17, 18 of them. This Miss Wood, would go and meet with all of these jurisdictions. She would put together all the documents. She would put together all the resolutions and the agreements. She would work with our staff internally to make sure that we get all of the public notices done correctly. This is, I think, Maddie, not saying, because I wasn't here back then and I don't know. We're just trying to move it forward, and we feel like this is probably the best way to do it. And as Mr. Durham said, it is very complicated stuff. We're just trying to get to the point and get this board so it has its TIF funding and it can begin to do the work that everybody's looking forward to having done.
I'm going to say again, it wasn't just, it's an idea and we sent out a haphazard letter. We're just thinking.
That's not what
about
I meant.
maybe.
I didn't mean that, Maddie.
So then I hope, then let's be clear. It was sent out to the jurisdictions. Now, unless a law has changed in the last 3 years, those same letters, those same jurisdictions was there, but all of that information was at the city attorney's office. And yet we have, for about 6 months, we even had 4 or 5 months that the city assessor was, oh, you know what, there's been some changes. Oh, I don't know what the numbers are. I am sorry. Yes, we are trying to get to the finish line, as you say, but what before the city spends $25,000, it should be made clear. Is it that if one of the quote 20, which we don't even know because the city attorney's office isn't turning over information, because those same, unless a new jurisdiction popped up out of a miracle situation, they should be the same. Those letters should be the same.
Maddie, I think that we do need to
What?
follow through and just see if we do need another step in there. There could be an original notification, and then as we have the TIF plan set up, and we should just clarify that if that's not the case and we already have the information, then we don't need to do this. I think that's your concern, right? That we
My
don't double
concern
spend money.
my concern is that it's at the city manager, it's at the city attorney's office, and yet we're going in circles on information that should have been put forth immediately. If his office is refusing to do it because he doesn't like that this commission voted to do that, then he should have turned over the information. Paul, I, or Mayor Anderson shouldn't have to keep running back to him and saying, we don't know where it's at, or paying another attorney outside of the city to go and look for information that should be made readily available. And my true concern is that we spend saying now we're talking a couple of months for this person whom we've never even talked to. We don't have anything in writing from. We'll go and negotiate. She's never even been to any of our meetings. How is she going to negotiate something for us? And she doesn't even know what we're trying to do.
So, hey, 2 things, Maddie, that can maybe help right now is that obviously I'm getting up to speed on this as well, but I will go right back to the city attorney and verify and request that every piece of communication and work that he did related to creating this, is immediately available to us. So I will do that. The second thing I think we need to do is ask this person, Jessica Wood, to meet with us. And once she has access to that, once I provide that information to her as well and say, here's the statute, here's how it works. Either we're mostly done or that was step 1 and we have step 2 and step 3. We can listen to her, we can ask her questions, and we can decide ourselves if we think this is the most appropriate way to move forward. Is that okay?
I would like one more thing in there.
Okay.
We need to find out if one of the 20, other than the public library, so let's say one of the 19 then.
Yeah.
If one of them says that they will not participate, will the TIF district have the ability to have funding in the district? Because it doesn't make sense when we already knew the first time there was more than one that chose not to participate. That's what I'm talking about, the lack of information. And if miraculously the law says, if one other than the public library chooses not to participate, then this district will not be able to exercise the funding taxes. Then we shouldn't be paying $25,000 to end up with, when we've already got 2 of them, if I'm not mistaken, I thought 2 of them said they would not participate last time. So if that's what I'm saying. And if that is true, has the law changed? Because we shouldn't have continued to meet for the next 2 years, knowing that 2 of them had opted out. Because the end would be that you wouldn't get anywhere.
I got a question. If we're gonna meet with her, can the city attorney also be in this meeting? So everything is laid out?
Sure.
I mean, it's spinning our wheels, but if we had them both here, it seemed like the city attorney ought to be able to relieve us having to pay a lot of money to her when they should be doing what they should be doing.
If nothing else, because she has questions that are legal questions that had already been done. And then she has to spend hours digging through some information that our attorneys could say, no, that step was done. Here is the documentation. It's already here. Otherwise, we'll have to wait. And then Paul would have to say, well, I'm not sure. I'm going to go back to the city attorney and ask him. And then he's going to find the time to answer her.
I will get it figured out. I'll get the answers to your questions and I will get them back to our board here as quickly as possible. And then, we can all make a decision together about what our next step should be and who we want to meet with and when we want to do that.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion or comments? I have a whole lot of thoughts, but I'm going to keep them to myself.
Well, it's just been helpful, all your questions, because I guess I feel like I will obviously be much more aware of the details of this whole process by the time we work through this. And I guess I've been approaching it like assuming certain things had already been taken care of, and we will find out what the story is on all that. So I look forward to that, and thanks for bringing it up for me, Maddie.
Thank you. Is there any other comments or discussion concerning this? I guess what we have to know, because we're in our meeting. This is not our normal meeting. Are we going to meet on what would be the normal? I think that's Christmas. So we would be in that dilemma again. So should we now come up with a date that we would meet in December so that we can have some answers?
I think that's a good idea.
Jamie?
Yeah, I just want to let you know your next scheduled meeting is December 16.
December 16th.
Yep.
Is that a good time for everyone? December 16th, that's a Thursday at 6 o'clock. And that hopefully we will be able to say that a binder has been sent to Jamie or Paul that has all the documentation that is there. So and then also, no, I'm gonna stop. I am going to stop. Hopefully those answers will be there. And I guess we also have on the agenda, if that's done, to even meet the person, or should we just have that discussion? Because if we have been spinning our wheels for 3 years on a district, the way the district was brought to us, that has to have everyone except one person to opt in, then that is a whole nother thing to discuss.
If it's okay, I would like to see if Jessica Wood and hopefully Clyde Robinson would be willing to attend our meeting on the 16th. And at this point, from my discussion with Jessica Wood, is that I believe that this district is going to be able to be completely operational And this is just going to be a process. I am not concerned that this is going to be, yeah, it's been way too long, but I'm not concerned that this is going to be a total waste of time. I believe that there will be a district, and the district will be functional and operational. That's what I believe.
And funding the traditional way, because without
Yes,
funding,
exactly.
all we have is a name, and we've just spent 3 years on just saying that you have a name.
Right.
While,
Well, we've done the other
while
part.
large developers are constantly still, I'm just gonna stop.
Yep.
Thank you. Mhm.
Part of our work was this other thing that we just finished with this other consultant, right? Which
Yes.
was the plan part. So anyway, I'll let you know what I find out.
We still haven't seen any funding for that. We have been paying, NACD has been paying them because they've been sending us bills.
You haven't gotten any of that?
Still,
10 grand?
Maddie?
You know, it's just unreal.
I'm on it. I'm on it. I've said I was on it before. Now I'm really on it. I am embarrassed and I apologize. I have spoken with people who have assured me, and I will now have to do it again. So I am sincerely apologize, and I will get it taken care of. I will follow up with you tomorrow.
That's fine. It wasn't meant as that. I think I'm more concerned about ramifications of saying that if one of the 19 says that they will not participate, that the district would not be funded. And no, I don't think that there's any, it's not okay to say, oh, we can fund we can still name the district, but it will not have the authority to borrow, to tax or anything. We will have spent 3 years. So I'm just, David, I'm going to let you handle that for us, because that should have been told immediately when all the jurisdictions came back. They told us which ones had said, okay. I was asked to go speak at the county when the letter was sent. The letters were sent out, and the only ones who asked to have clarification at that time was the county.
Okay, good to know.
So we should not have to rechange any language because we haven't changed anything. The only thing that should be changed is the date on the letter and the resolution saying that we now have the TIF plan. Here is the TIF plan, and we are asking for your support again. And if you need us to come and present to your jurisdiction. So I guess that's where my frustration is, but thank you.
I understand your frustration.
Would we, unless there's any other discussion, we can move forward. We do not have a director. I don't think, is there any other items, or would anyone like to make any other comments? Hearing none, can I have a motion to adjourn? Oh, David?
If we're about to adjourn, I just want to say I want to wish everybody the best for Thanksgiving. I'm thankful for you, Maddie, and I'm thankful for this team, and I'm grateful for that. So I'll get on this before Thanksgiving occurs.
I want to ditto on that. Say the same
likewise.
thing. Happy holidays to everybody. And I will see you guys on the 16th of December.
Ditto.
Great.
And I just want to say thanks. I want to thank everyone for hanging in there on this journey that we are on. We are not in this journey for ourselves. We're on this journey to make a difference long-term for some people. We will be gone. What we're trying to do. I mean, John, yes, your projects are in here, but the physical buildings and what we're putting together, we all will be gone. So we're
long gone.
Long gone. We will be long gone. And that hopefully what we are doing today is setting a stage for generations to have equity and for the Northside community to be the great place that all of us here already believe, or else we wouldn't have been here so long. So thanks,
Amen.
everyone, and happy holidays.
Amen.
Happy holidays.
All right.
We are adjourned.
Yeah.
Unless Kiara, did you want to say anything?
Just happy Thanksgiving to everyone again.
Thanks, Kara.
Yes.
We are adjourned. Bye-bye.
Bye.